Hey everyone, welcome to your adaptive seated yoga practice. And so I've been actually calling this yoga practice a chair yoga practice. So I'd like to amend that just a little and refer to it as a seated practice. And so you're more than welcome to set yourself up in whatever way feels comfortable for you seated. And so that out of the way, an invitation to join me in a centering practice. And so centering might look different for some of us. However, for this morning, I'd like to share with you one of the tools that I use as a way to center. And that would be to share a piece of writing with you or a poem. And so today's share is by a book written by Terry Tempest Williams. And the book is called When Women Were Birds, 54 Variations on Voice. And so here it goes. So what if there were a hidden pleasure in calling one thing by another name? And that's actually, the book is written by Mary Tempest Williams, but this is a little foreword by Ray, and you'll have to look up his last name. His last name, I can't really figure it out right now. However, I can read the little piece of writing. What if there were a hidden pleasure in calling one thing by another name? Ray, and he does have a last name, or she. So bring your hands together at your heart center. And so in yoga, sometimes the middle of our chest is referred to symbolically as our heart center. So placing your palms together at your heart center, lifting your elbows slightly, maybe even pressing your thumbs against your sternum. And notice how that feels. So if this placement of your hands makes you lose your balance in any way, choose another placement for your hands. And so we never forfeit balance to come into a pose or movement. And then when you're ready, I'd like to invite you to lift your heart. Bow your head towards your heart and take a moment to set a simple intention for your practice. And I'll invite you to set your intention with one word, and I will remember to invite you to remember your intention at the end of the practice. We'll revisit it. And then when you're ready, release your arms out, up and out, opening up your armpits. And so maybe a little lower if that feels better for you. And then shake your hands vigorously. So wiggly fidgets. And then resting your hands on your thighs, palms face up or down as desired. And so maybe even taking a moment to notice which feels better for you, resting your palms face up or resting your palms face down. And so if you are fatigued, an invitation to explore resting your palms face up, open to receive. If you are feeling restless, agitated, palms face down, can help ground us. And so maybe rolling your shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And then from here, an invitation to make sure that your feet are placed evenly on the floor, on your footrest. If you are seated in a mobile I was sitting in my office chair. It's got wheels, and I was trying to learn how to use all the controls to put the brakes on, and I just about ejected myself out of the chair. So if you are seated in a chair, make sure the chair is turned off. And then root down through your feet, center and ground through the soles of your feet. So making sure that our feet are firmly planted on the ground, not in the air. And then when you're ready, root down through your sits bone. So maybe noticing where your bottom is in contact with your seat. Energy moving in two directions, lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. So you might imagine that you have a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you way up to the sky. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And then as you're ready, if you'd like and it's available to you, reach your arm way up to the sky. And then slowly float your arm down. So we'll repeat this gentle movement 3 more times on this side, reaching our arm up, way up to the sky. And slowly float your arm down. So let's explore adding a gentle breath to the movement if you'd like. On an inhale, reach your arm up, full length of the inhale. On exhale, float your arm down, the full length of your exhale. It's as if on our inhale, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end point. On exhale, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Release both arms down by your side. Our belly, yoga belly is soft, breath is quiet. And then take a moment to repose. And so doing whatever your body is asking of you so that you're seated comfortably, effortlessly upright. And so I'm going to do the same from a teaching perspective. And I'm going to see if I can elevate my teaching from an iPad. And see if I can elevate a little bit. So you can get a better view of my hands. And so let's continue with the movement on the other side. And so as you're ready, reaching your other arm way up to the sky. And then slowly float your arm down. So gentle movement, reaching up, way up to the sky. Then slowly float your arm down. So it's not about forcing one limb to do what the other is. We just want our limbs talking to each other. And so reaching up. Full length of your inhale, and on your exhale, float your arm down the full length of your exhale. So gentle movement, reaching up, 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 and slowly float your arm down. Release both arms down by your side or wherever feels comfortable for you. And this time, let's explore reaching both arms up to the sky. So it might be reaching up in front of you or maybe out to the side a little. And then when you're ready, fold your fingers in, press into the palms of your hands. There's a sensitive point in the palms of our hands. And together we can shout out. So you're at home, I can't hear you. And so we can shout out, we are, or actually let's start with I am, I can, and I will. And then together we can. So shout out one more time. We are, we can, and we will. And with a sigh of relief, float your arms down. Whew. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And notice, how's your breath? Maybe noticing any subtle sensations. Trust that the sensations are there. I'm not going to be a rocket ship across the sky. And then moving on. So again, reposing, so ground through your feet. So if you can't feel your feet in the traditional way, or the gross way, I suppose, is another way of phrasing that. Invitation is to imagine, to visualize your feet. So imagination is powerful. Of course, we've always known that. So prana, energy, goes wherever our thoughts and our breath go. And so maybe tapping your toes. So micro movements, visualizing the movements, focusing on what we can do. And maybe rolling up onto your toes or the ball of your feet and rolling back on your heels. Might feel okay for you to toe heel out to the side. So understand that it's not possible for some. And so focusing on what we can do. And then come on back with your feet. Hip distance apart. So maybe noticing how it feels to have your feet approximately hip distance apart. And so if that feels comfortable, in other words, stable, wonderful. If not, place your feet in whatever way you'd like so that you feel stable, comfortable. And so we never forfeit balance to come into pose or movement. And so balance, the equal distribution of presence throughout our entire body. And so moving on, let's reach our arms way up again to the sky. And maybe this time, bringing our palms together. So, and then maybe interlacing your fingers loosely. And if you'd like, it might feel okay to turn your palms up towards the sky. And so whatever pose works for you, honor that. So yoga meets us right where we are. And then lengthening up. So we're grounded through our feet, sit bones sharp on the chair. Lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. Coming out of the pose anytime you'd like, or on my count. And 3, 2, 1. Come out of the pose. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. And take a moment to notice, how's your breath? Notice any subtle sensations. And so you're just shifting your weight from side to side, finding a comfortable seat. So pulling the buttock flesh away from your sits bones. And sitting up comfortably, effortlessly upright. And so to facilitate sitting upright, good days, better days, I like to sometimes have a rolled blanket or a rolled sticky mat, a yoga mat along my spine. So if you happen to have that available and you want to place it along your spine, that can help with support us, help counter this collapsing sometimes we do forward in our chest and shoulders and so on. It can be hard on our lungs and so on. This blanket is actually feeling quite nice along my spine, so I'm going to leave it there. I also have a couple other things that I like to sometimes bring to class. So making sure that you're comfortable means making sure that you're warm enough and or staying cool, whatever. And so I like to have a little blanket or a pillow or something on my lap. And I find this grounding. And so it could be your favorite pillow, maybe your pet, whatever works. And so move your gaze downwards. So looking down and into your heart. See what you can see. And so moving away from the busyness in our brains and more towards our heart. Well, close your eyes softly if that feels comfortable for you, or soften your gaze. And so when we soften our gaze, it is calming for our nervous system. Allow your muscles, your facial muscles, to soften and release. Our jaws relaxed, breath is calm. And then bring your awareness to your breath. Without changing anything. So maybe noticing as we inhale, things expand. And on exhale, things contract. Maybe noticing, is your breath long or smooth or jagged? And from here, we'll transition into a simple breathing exercise that research shows can help with pain management, pain care if you'd like, and anxiety. And so, placing one hand on your yoga belly, so that area between our navel and our pubic bone, and your other hand on your heart center. And then begin to deepen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. And when we lengthen our exhale, it is calming for our nervous system. And then see if you can begin to smooth out your breath. So that your inhales and your exhales are about the same duration and quality. And then an invitation to add a quality of softness to your breath. Imagine you just tasted something delicious. Or it might be that you imagine that you're petting your favorite furry friend. And see if you can bring some of that same softness to areas of your body that you feel are too tight or knotted. And so our breath is long and smooth and soft as we breathe in and as we breathe out. So just for a few more breaths, or as long as this feels comfortable, I'd like to invite you to keep this simple breathing exercise flowing. At any point, if you notice that your mind gets distracted and wants to wander off, know that that's okay. That's the nature of our mind. Simply bring your awareness back to your breath. At any point, if you notice that your mind gets distracted and wants to wander off, as often it will, bring a gentle awareness to the sounds around you. So I just heard a bird outside my window. I can hear the hum of the computer equipment in my little Zoom room today. And maybe noticing the gentle tone of my voice. And then in a loving way, bring your awareness back to your breath. Wherever you are in your breath cycle, allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. Your natural rhythm. Maybe observing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. And then drop your chin towards your chest, towards your heart center. And gradually blink your eyes open. And so we're falling awake, not asleep. Falling awake, not asleep. And so notice if you felt a subtle shift in your energy. And so we've begun the process of tuning into our bodies and connecting with our breath. And so often the bridge between our body and our mind is our breath. And so let's, arms by our sides, spiral your palms open, open up your armpits. And so get bigger in space. And we'll do the, practice the wiggly fidgets again. So maybe do the bum dance. Shake your hands vigorously. So we all have our own sense of rhythm. And so when you're ready, an invitation to walk your hips forward in the chair. Setting aside if you had something behind your back, a yoga mat or rolled up blanket, a block maybe. can work. Whatever you had behind your back, remove it, come forward in the chair, about 2/3 of the way, and then I'd like you to maybe explore walking your hips back. Or it might be a little bum dance. And so if you need the back of the chair today for support, honor that. Yoga meets us right where we are. And so for those of you who haven't met me, my Zoom room today is in my home in Half Moon Bay on the Sunshine Coast. And it's a little panabo cabin that I share with my beloved husband and my rabbit, Evie. And so Evie, not likely today, but he might make an appearance. So if you see bunny ears hopping around, you're not imagining that. It's really a bunny. That was my feeling when I first saw him in the yard 3 years ago now. Is that really a bunny? Anyway, what a gift. So animals, such a gift. Always welcome to the class, and your children, of course, as well. You're practicing at home. And so let's reach our arms out and up. And I'd like to share a practice with you called sun breath, meditation on the heart. So bring your hands together, palms together at your heart. Or maybe at your yoga belly. And so reach your arms out to the side, up and out, if that works for you, or maybe a little lower. And keeping this gentle flow going. If you'd like, imagine the sun at your heart center. On your inhales, as you extend your arms away from you, imagine the rays of the sun, the radiant light of the sun all around you. And then gather that light and bring it back inside as a symbol of the light that's always inside us. And then together, if you'd like, we'll inhale. And on our exhale, exploring, bring your palms together, making a humming sound like a bee. Inhale, so you might not hear me, but go for it. Sounds a little humming sound like a bee. So if you hum the sound from your belly, you might feel a vibration. Inhale. Place one hand on your yoga belly, the other on your heart center. Bow your head to your heart, lifting your heart to your hands. And then maybe noticing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. And arms by your sides, spiral your palms open, open up your armpits. And so reaching up to the sky. So get bigger in space. We tend to shrink. So maybe stretching from one side to the other, reaching up, like maybe like you're grabbing an apple from a tree. So it's apple season on the West Coast, here where I am. And so stretch. And if you haven't yawned already today, maybe letting out a big ha sound on the exhale. And then together, reaching up, fold your fingers and press into the palms of your hands. And this time, maybe even placing your hands on the back of your head if that feels okay for you. If not, palms of our hands. And so together we can affirm, I am, I can, and I will. Or if you like, we are, we can, and we will. Together we can. Float your arms down. So when we lengthen our exhale, it is calming for our nervous system. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Our yoga belly is soft, breath is quiet. And take a moment to notice how you feel. So you might notice that saliva begins to pool in, of course, your mouth at some point. So that's usually a pretty good indication that our nervous system is becoming more balanced. And so we always want to start a yoga practice from a place where we're grounded and relaxed, and then kind of vinyasa krama, so building on once we're awake and grounded, moving into a little more strengthening and so on. And so let's maybe walk our hips forward in the chair a little bit and then back again. And I just noticed my phone, which happens to have my time, and so I want to make sure that I keep things flowing on time today. And then, so I sit beside me. And so let's actually, let's bring our feet a little bit wider than outer hip bone distance. And so we are going to focus on lower back, hips, legs, and so on today, maybe a little more than I have in previous classes. And so an invitation to, if you're not comfortable with the movement, to imagine the movement. So that's can be a really nice place to start if even the most gentle movement creates discomfort in your body. And so maybe feet a little wider than outer hip bone distance. So notice, if that's possible, notice that if you've moved your feet out, that your knees are in line with your ankles. And so if your knees or hips are rotating inwards, it might be helpful to place something between your knees. So it might be a bolster, something you have around the house. Anything that helps facilitate, or maybe even your hands. Knees being in line with your ankles. It's okay to have your toes turned out a little. And then when you're ready, placing your hands on your hip creases or wherever you can reach comfortably, we'll transition into a gentle movement to help find our balance. And so as you're ready, hinging from the hips, come forward with a flat back. And so this is not about seeing how far we can go. So only come to that place of just right amount of effort and ease, and then rock back up. And so in your own time and rhythm, for a few more breaths, I'd like to invite you to keep this gentle movement flowing. And so it might be helpful to walk your feet forward a little bit. If you have a yoga buddy that can place their hands on your ankles, that might be helpful for grounding. And then come on back, up seated, comfortably, neutral spine. Toe heel back in. And notice how this feels. And then shifting our weight from side to side. Release your arms down by your side. Extend beyond your wrists, beyond your fingertips. And sometimes it can be interesting to close our eyes as we're practicing these movements. Our yoga belly is soft, breath is quiet. And then come on back to a neutral spine, stillness. Take a moment, notice how this feels. And so wherever you are in your breath cycle, take an inhale through your nose unless you're congested. And on your exhale, see if you can draw your sits bones towards each other. And then release. Did you feel a subtle shift? So it might be so subtle that it's only apparent to you. It might have been a little lift in your chest. And then when you're ready, we'll continue. So an invitation to bend your arms low in front of you, looking straight ahead. That can help us focus our mind. And then gently twisting from side to side. So you might move at my pace, maybe a little quicker, slower. So we move towards our 100% and back off to 80. And then if you'd like, maybe bending your elbows, fingers reach to the sky, and then twist from side to side. So moving with your breath. Maybe if you'd like to challenge yourself a little more today, so you choose, this is your yoga practice. So my hope for you is that you become your own yoga teacher. And then, or a student, whichever is the case. I think they're both one and the same. And so maybe reaching your elbows up a little higher, moving with your breath. And so I like to hear my breath in some of the movements, so that can help focus our mind. And so I'm going to inhale, exhale through my nose. You're welcome to practice that as well if you'd like. Slowly come on out of the movement. Release your arms down by your side or wherever feels comfortable for you. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And take a moment to notice how this feels. And so I'd like to invite you to bring your hands to your hip flexors again, or where it feels comfortable for you. So when I say comfortable, comfortable, in other words, stable. And so a gentle reminder that we never forfeit balance to come into a pose or movement. And then you're doing a little bum dance, shifting your weight from side to side. I'd like to share a practice with you called stirring the pot. And so coming forward, circling, and then moving back. So this gentle movement, it can sometimes feel strange if we're not accustomed to it. And so maybe noticing that as we make smaller circles, that it might feel like we're working our core a little more. And that when we make larger circles, a little more of a warm up for our lower back and our hips. And so bring your awareness to the space around you. And so the space in front of you and beside you, above you, and especially bringing your awareness to the space behind you. And trust that you're being supported. So I like to think in terms of we. And then as you're ready, other direction. So I may be seeing if we can, as our hips and lower back release, see if we can go a little deeper. So moving your shoulders towards your knees. And of course, we're not going to come all the way down. And so moving in your own pace. And 3, 2, 1, come on back to a neutral spine. Release your arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And feel your work. So notice any subtle sensations. How's your breath? And so I'd like to invite you to bring your hands together at your heart center again. And this time we're going to rub our palms vigorously. So warm up your hands, energize your hands. And then bring some of that lovely healing energy that's your own. Prana if you'd like. So and then placing your hands wherever your body's talking to you. So my hips have been talking to me of late, not surprising. I've been sitting a lot. And so placing your hands wherever your body is talking to you. And then let's rub our palms together again. It might be that you have a yoga buddy that's able to do this piece with you, partner work, lovely. Otherwise, you might imagine that I'm placing my hands. Actually, this time, let's bring our hands to our eyes. And I invite you to sweep your hands across your eyes. And then bring our hands to the back of our neck. And so if you don't mind messing up your hair a little bit for a little while, you could take your hair out of the elastic, whatever's holding it, if that works for you, and then tap the back of your neck. So my mother's Irish hair, tapping the back of your neck. And then come on up to the crown of your head. And if you'd like, you could say, shout out, or say, wake up, brain. Wake up, brain. And then bring your hands or your fingertips to your face, tapping. Right, so if the tapping feels too intense, maybe just gentle movements, sweeping. And then reaching over, so across to the bottom of your ear, tap from the bottom of your ear down to your shoulder. And then give yourself a pat on the back. And so other side, tap from the bottom of your ear down to your shoulder, maybe reaching back, give yourself a pat on the back. And then when you're ready, invitation to tap your upper chest for a few moments. So this is a tool that I learned many years ago to help with anxiety. It's tapping in this area, but we don't want to overdo that. So moving on, let's bring our hands to our yoga belly, so lower belly. And then massage your organs. So our liver's on our right, our gallbladder, massaging our stomach. And then when you're ready, if you'd like, hinging forward from the hips, massage your lower back. So if you can reach back there, maybe imagine that I'm massaging your lower back. And even if you can reach up a little higher to where your kidneys and adrenal glands live. And so last time I checked, my kidneys are up quite high, and the adrenal glands sit on our kidneys and they're almond shaped. And so this is, they are really close to the surface, so important to keep this area warm. And then when you're ready, press one hand down to sit up nice and tall, and then sweeping forward, let that go. Inhale, let, exhale, go. And so moving on, you're welcome to stretch your legs out if you'd like. And then we'll sweep down our thighs, along our knees, maybe down along your shins, your feet. So wherever you can reach comfortably. So it might be one side and the other, alternating. If you can pick up your toes and reach just in the center, the ball of your foot, there's a little point there called a marma point. We put gentle pressure there. It can feel good. And then come on back up. And then one more time. Sweeping down. And then come on back up. Bring your hands a few inches apart in front of you, wherever feels comfortable for you. Close your eyes softly and notice any subtle sensations. And so moving on, I would be curious if any of you wanted to share whether or not you felt a subtle sensation after the class. I'll stick around for a few moments. I'm more than happy to hear from you. That would be great. So let's do a practice I learned not that long ago from a wonderful yoga teacher. And this is, I think she referred to it as breath of joy. So breath of joy, so this is a morning, early afternoon practice, depending on where you are, in Canada anyway. And so breath of joy. So we want our practice to be a little more heating in the morning or earlier in the day. And in the evening, not so much. That's another story. So breath of joy. So make sure that you have, that you're comfortable sitting effortlessly upright. And so we're going to inhale, if it feels okay for you, 3 times, sniffing through our nose. And then exhale. And then if it's okay for you, I'd like to invite you to add our movements as well. And so again, a gentle reminder, it's not about forcing one arm in this case to be doing what the other is doing. We just want them talking to each other. And mostly we want to have fun in our practice. And that fun, we need to feel safe. And so Here we go. Ground through your feet, center and ground through the soles of your feet. Sit bones sharp on the chair. Spines lengthened, shoulders back and down. Tuck your chin in slightly. And inhale, 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 and drop. So we'll do 2 more rounds. Inhale, 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 and drop. Inhale, 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 and drop. Great. Oh, okay. So let's transition into practice from here called Waving to Our Ancestors, and then we'll come into a short guided meditation and our final relaxation. And so hands in front of you, begin by waving and then reaching up to the sky. So good morning, waving to our ancestors. So it might feel okay to move your feet forward or back a little, and then hinging from the hips and forward. 2 more times, reaching up to the sky. So good morning, Terry, Mom, and then coming forward, oops, Uncle George, my dog Bubbles. And so 1 more time. So I had a woman in my class for years who lived to be about 102 or 3. And we were doing this practice one morning, and she said, I feel like my ancestors are waving back at me. And so, just like you're shaking water off your hands, let your arms float down by your side or wherever feels comfortable for you. Our yoga belly is soft, breath, quiet. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And come on, seated back comfortably in your seat to finish up your yoga practice. And so get what you need to stay warm. And so my feet are cold, so I'm going to take this lovely blanket and throw it on my feet, or I might actually just place it on the floor. And I have a little scarf that I'm going to put around my neck. And so roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Look down and into your heart, see what you can see. And then imagine that you're breathing into your heart. If you'd like, you can place your hands in a mudra. So mudras, hand gestures, are created to help us focus our mind. And so whatever mudra works for you. So a popular one, diamond mudra. So it's when we bring our index fingers together with our thumb, palms face down. Can help ground us. So sometimes referred to as an earth mudra. And then draw your hands in towards your hip creases. And so breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. As my in-breath grows deep, my out-breath grows slow. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. And so get whatever you need to come into your final relaxation. So serenity pose. And so get what you need to stay warm, if you need a blanket. And so close your eyes softly, if that works for you, or soften your gaze. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. So not scrunching your shoulder blades together, but allowing your shoulders to soften away from your ears. Rest your palms face up or down as desired. So soft yoga belly, the area between our navel and our pubic bone. And soft palms, quiet breath. Allow your breath to reflect the pose. Relax your jaw and clench your teeth. Let there be a little space between your teeth. Soften your lower jaw. Soften around your temples. And soften the area between your eyebrows. Wide forehead. Mentally, if you'd like, on inhale, saying the word let, and on exhale, go. Inhale, let. On exhale, saying the word go. So wherever you are in your breath cycle, let your breath, or actually no, pardon me, just bring your awareness to your breath without changing anything. Sorry, I had to just check on my little bunny butt, my rabbit, make sure that he was okay. And so my care rooster in the background here too, he's a real deal. So yeah, without changing anything, bring your awareness back to your breath. Thank your body. Thank your body again. And now see if you can begin to deepen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. Wiggle your fingers and toes, hands and feet, waking up. Rub the tips of your fingers with your thumbs if you'd like, and come on up seated comfortably to finish up your yoga practice. Thank you. And so notice how you feel before and after your yoga practice. Any questions or feedback? I always love to hear from you. And yeah, so otherwise, have a wonderful week. And the teacher me honors and appreciates the teacher in each of you. You might want to bring the intention you set at the beginning of your yoga class back to mind. And then let it go. And take a moment to honor yourself for showing up for yoga practice today. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Thank you to ConnecTra, the Disability Foundation, my friend who's behind the scenes right now helping, and all that brought this day together for us to share. So I guess that's it. Thank you.